Investing in Massachusetts can certainly be a little bit trying and expensive, and it can be a big endeavor. So, what are your options here when you're thinking about investing in Massachusetts? Personally, I have fixed and flipped a few homes, but that was back when I was living in New York. And so we did that in New Jersey, my husband and I. So, we have the construction experience, we have the fix and flip experience, and I also work with a number of investors that do a variety of things investing here in Massachusetts. So there are a lot of options. Of course, when you're in Massachusetts, you have towns that you can look into that maybe are growing and changing. Places like Grafton has a lot of new construction coming in. Charlton, they have a lot of turnover, a lot of changes as well. So there's a lot of renovating and a lot of new construction in those areas. Or you can look at areas that are already established that may have homes that are run down, and you may be thinking you want to fix and flip them. There are a variety of options. So what I've done is I've pulled up a few examples. I chose Worcester because we've got a whole variety of different options in Worcester itself, which is a great area to start. Worcester has been changing dramatically, especially in the last 10 years, with the addition of Polar Park right in Kelly Square and the Cove, all of those new buildings going in, those condo complexes. That whole area has honestly changed dramatically. And a lot of different areas in Worcester are also changing as well. And just getting some new construction, some renovations, and a little bit of a facelift in some areas. So I pulled up a few properties in Worcester so that we can kind of dive into each of these different varieties of options of investing. So, of course, in investing, you have different things. You can buy a property or you cannot buy a property. There are things called real estate investment trusts, which is more of a stock option that you can look into, and that would be real estate investing with solely your money. And then there are things like wholesaling, where you could purchase a property. You're going to have to go out and find the properties yourself, but you could kind of canvas a neighborhood that maybe has an older clientele or people that may have a lot of turnover in that neighborhood. You could canvas those neighborhoods and see if anybody is interested in selling. And you could basically sell the property to an investor. You would kind of be more like a middleman, and you would get a fee for finding the seller and finding the buyer. And you would be doing that off market. So that's one option. Or you can look into fix and flips. You can look into multifamilies. You can look into single family rentals, condo rentals. There are a number of things. And investing doesn't have to be a quick 3-month kind of thing either. If you're doing a fix and flip, it could be a situation where you live in and renovate while you're living there and then sell it a couple years down the line when you have a little bit of equity in the property. So let's check out what I've got pulled up. So this property is in Worcester. It's 209,000. It's a tiny little house, but as you can see, it definitely could use an update. A little bit of curb appeal, a driveway, maybe flower boxes, maybe an awning, a little something coming out, an entryway, new staircase, just a facelift, really. Something that kind of draws people in. So this would something I would consider a fixer-upper. So you can come in here, you can maybe change out these floors, this trim. You could add an addition as well because it is a smaller home. You've got ceiling damage here. You've, of course, got baseboard heating, only one light fixture in each room, so everything's going to feel darker. Bathroom, totally update it. Kitchen needs a total update. And that's all we've got for photos. But this would be like a total fixer-upper. So you're going to be thinking about adding an addition here because you're going to want to add more space. Or you could keep it small and keep it light and try to find a first-time home buyer as well, whatever your options are. But this one's kind of like a whole fixer-upper. So this is something that you're coming in, you're going to get your contractor, your team in, and you're going to renovate the whole place and sell it likely. So there's one option of investing. Another property that I've got pulled up, this one is listed at 375. It looks like a really cute house on the exterior. And then you come inside, that's a good room. But you can see that's really cute. Obviously, keeping all the built-ins, please. They're beautiful. But here's your kitchen. In your kitchen, you could use new flooring. You could use new cabinets. The appliances look okay, but this layout is like awful in that kitchen. Here's your bathroom. You need new flooring. bedroom. You've got baseboard heat. Here's another bathroom, new flooring, new sink. Um, Here's one of the rooms. Obviously, replace that carpet. Lighting, I don't know what this is. I mean, just this needs some for sure cosmetic updates, but that's some place where you could purchase it and you can live here while you're renovating because these spaces are livable. So you could live here and renovate it if you're handy yourself, or if you have friends and family that are handy, live here for a couple of years, and renovate it yourself. Let me actually go back. I'll talk about financing on this one. So if you're going to live in the property for a couple of years, you could get an FHA loan. And that is a first-time homebuyer's loan. You could do an FHA 203K loan. That's a first-time homebuyer's loan with a renovation. So you would have to put down 3.5% of the purchase price of the home and include on that the budget for the construction that you plan to do. So let's say you just plan on renovating this kitchen, changing out the flooring, and a few other things. Say the renovation is going to cost, let's do 50,000 just to try to keep it even. And let's say you buy it for 375, you get a construction loan for 50,000. So that puts you at 425 as a total purchase price. So you're going to be putting down 3.5% of 425, your purchase price plus your construction price. So when you do an FHA 203K loan, you have to have a contractor come by and give you an estimate that you're going to be submitting to your lender. That contractor has to be FHA approved as well. So if you know somebody, they can certainly get FHA approved, but I do believe it cannot be a family member that does the contracting. So there are some specifics that you need to talk through with your lender, but that is an option. So if you're going to live at a property, renovate it, you've got to live there for at least 2 years, I think. But again, double check with your lender. So you've got to live there for a certain amount of time and have an FHA approved contractor. So that's the FHA 203K loan. Now, if you're going to just do a renovation loan, so this one, if you're going to purchase this, you're going to need some sort of a renovation loan or a hard money loan. So I have personally done hard money loans. That is with a hard money lender, and you are typically putting down 10% of the purchase and the construction cost. So again, you're going to need to have a contractor come out, give you a full estimate of what the work and the scope of work is going to be and what it will cost you. You're going to submit that to your lender, and you are going to be purchasing the price for 10% of that full cost. So if you buy this, let's say you buy it for 200,000, you're going to be putting 100,000 into it. So the full cost of this project is going to be $300,000. You're putting 10% of $300,000 plus your closing costs. Don't ever forget your closing costs. Closing costs include lender fees, title search, clearing the title, title insurance, and a number of different things, appraisal, all of those things are included in your closing costs. So that's another upfront fee, which can be anywhere from 3 to 5% of the purchase price as well. So let's say you're buying this property for 200,000, you're putting 100,000 into it for renovations. So with your hard money lender, you're going to be paying 10% of 300,000 plus your closing costs. So that's what a hard money lender typically would be. There are lenders now that also do renovation loans. So I work with a lender that has a couple of different renovation loan options as well, so that you could talk through the specifics of that with them. Maybe they would have a better interest rate. Hard money lenders typically tend to have a higher interest rate, and you're on a time frame. So the hard money lender is going to tell you you've got 6 months to complete this project, and when they say 6 months, typically it is from closing date to when you sell it. So you've got like 3 months to get this renovation done, and then you got to get it on the market and get it sold within your 6-month time period. So that is with a hard money lender. So if you're doing a total fix and flip, a hard money lender is an option, or sometimes a lender will have a renovation loan program that you can talk through. And then for this one, you could do an FHA loan, an FHA 203K, which is the construction first-time homebuyer loan. Or you can talk to your lender about if you're going to be living in it, maybe you could do a conventional, which would be 5%, 10%, 15, 20% down. So different down payments you're able to do, and then see if they have a construction aspect or you could get a separate construction loan to do the construction on that property. So those are some financing options for these particular ones. Now, another option, I have a lender that does condos specifically. He only does condos, and he has bought a number of different condos and he just rents them out. So I've got this pulled up because I know that this is an investor-friendly condo unit. So he will just buy these condos, pretty much no work that needs to be done to them, right? And you can rent it out right away. So he's buying this for $259, let's say. And then he's able to rent it right as soon as he closes. He usually markets it as well. Once he's got his mortgage commitment, he'll start marketing the property for rent so that he can get a renter in pretty much as soon as he's done closing. So that is an option as well. Now, if you're looking to do this, you typically have to put 20% down of the purchase price. You've got to buy this as a conventional property, or sometimes you may need a portfolio loan. So a portfolio loan is required when nobody wants to sit here and look at a picture of a bathroom, sorry. Okay, so a portfolio loan is if there are more units rented in the building than there are owner occupied. So owner occupied units mean that the owner, the person that owns the unit, is actually living there in the unit. But some in investor-friendly buildings, sometimes there are more people that are renting in the building than there are owners actually living in the building. In that case, you would typically need a portfolio loan from your lender. Not all lenders do them, so you want to make sure that you're working with a lender that allows portfolio loans and allows for there to be more investors than there are owner occupants in the building. So that's an important stipulation for buying a condo and renting it out. Of course, for condos, you also want to make sure that you will always be able to rent this condo out. You don't ever want to end up in a situation where you buy a condo and maybe the rules change. I mean, you can sell it if that's the case, but you want to make sure you're aware of all of the condo rules. Some condo associations will only allow for you to rent after you've lived there for a year or 2 years. I know we've worked with a couple in Framingham that do that. So it's important to know the rules and the regulations of that specific condo building. And you're also going to want to take into account you're buying the property for $259, let's say, but there are also HOA fees. So for this one, it's $360. So when you put together the rent that you want somebody to be paying, you want to make sure that you're accounting for these $360, the association fees, and adding that into your monthly cost as well. So condos is a great option for rentals. Again, make sure you know the condo rules. And if you are buying the condo to rent out, you're going to have to do 20% down payment typically. So those are a few stipulations for the condos. Then, of course, you've got multifamily rentals. So I've got this one pulled up. This is a 2-family in Worcester for $599. So for multifamilies, you have the option of buying a multifamily and it may have tenants in it already. You can keep those tenants. And if that is the case, you are likely going to have to be putting down 25% down payment. So if you're buying it for $600,000, you're putting 25% of that down. So let me do that math real quick because 25 is... So you buy it for $600,000, you're putting $150,000 down payment plus your closing costs. So that is if you are buying the multifamily that already has tenants in it, you're keeping the tenants and you're using it strictly as an investment property. So here's that one example. You could also buy a multifamily property, and if there is a unit that is vacant for you, you could live in one unit and rent out the other units. That's a great option. And with that option, you can use a FHA loan, the first-time homebuyers loan. And that's a wonderful option for first-time homebuyers as well, because you are buying a property, you're buying an investment, you're going to be living in one unit, you're renting out other units, and renting those other units will help you pay and cover your mortgage. So it brings your monthly costs down, you're investing in a property, and your equity in that property will continue to grow. So that's one option as a multifamily purchase. And If you go above, so these are for like 1 to 4 family homes, you can use a conventional loan. If you go above a 4 family home, it may be considered a commercial with your lender, and you would need a commercial loan for that property. So that is important to know as well. So when you're looking at properties, you need to know how many units are in that property so that you can determine what type of loan you will need. If you're going to live in the property, you could use an FHA loan. If you are completely renting it out and it's under 4 units, you can use a conventional loan, but you will need to do 25% down payment. And then if it's more than 4 units, you may need a commercial loan. So definitely something to talk through with your lender. Another option would be to purchase a single family home. We'll go back to this other single family that I've got. So you could purchase the single family home and rent this out as well. Single family homes are in high demand right now for renting out. There are so few of them. And so many people want their own space, especially if they cannot purchase a home currently, but they have children, they have families, maybe they have their in-laws living with them, and they need a rental space, but they don't want to rent a unit in a multifamily or a condo. So buying a single family home and renting those out are a great option as well. Of course, if you're renting out your whole home, you're going to be getting more rent for that property. And if you have garage space as well, so like, for example, I'll pull up one of my listings. So I have a multifamily currently for sale in Webster, and they have this is the property. So it is 2 units that are renovated that they can rent out. They're currently rented out to tenants. And then there's an attic space that was previously renovated and used as another rental. So that's an option. Sorry, guys. That's an option as well, is to renovate that attic space. So you always want to know what opportunities you have when you're purchasing a property as well. Can you add an additional space? Now with the new accessory dwelling unit rules in Massachusetts and across the country, you can add an accessory dwelling unit also, maybe in your backyard or on your property somewhere, and rent that space out as well. So trying to find more ways where you can kind of squeeze out a little additional revenue. And this property in particular has a 4-car garage. So you can divide all of these 4-car garage, put different locks on every single one of them, and you could rent out each garage to somebody different. In Webster, in particular, a lot of motorcyclists, a lot of people that may have jet skis because of Webster Lake. So you could be renting these spaces out to these people for an additional monthly income as well. So you always want to try to find out where can you draw additional income in your property and make the most of it. So those are a few options for investing in Massachusetts. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk through different options, different properties, talk through the financing with you, and see what may work best for you as well. If you have any questions, reach out. All of my information is in the description, and I look forward to chatting with you all. Happy investing.